Jean Smart plays Deborah Vance in the new HBO Max series Hacks. I'm Matt Noble here from Gold Derby to ask you, Jean, what was the most challenging part of the role of Deborah?
Oh gosh, I don't even think of it. It just was so much fun. It's funny. I did get a couple of times when I was doing stand up, usually with no audience. Uh, I did get one time. I did have a little bit of an audience. They had them spaced out, COVID distance, in the theater. And I started getting stage fright, nerves, kind of like when I'm doing a play right before I go on. And I thought, well, this is crazy. I have to calm down. No, it's they're being paid to laugh, so I'm safe, you know. But it was all really great fun.
And what did you learn about stand-ups from that rehearsal process and getting ready for the role, but also from shooting the series?
Well, when I was a kid and when I would see female comedians, it looked like so much fun. But I think I intuited very early on that it would be absolutely terrifying in real life to actually do it. So, yeah, because the thing about comedy as opposed to drama is that it is painfully obvious when you are failing. Drama and the audience is quiet, they could be asleep, but you don't know if they're just hanging on your every word. But in comedy, it's instantaneous, grade A or fail.
Yeah. And I guess on the flip side of that, when you do well, the audience can let you know too. Is there a particular moment you feel like you nailed and you just go, I hit it there?
Because it's television, we don't really have an audience. It's funny because I started out doing theater for years before I ever did anything on camera, and there's nothing like getting a laugh from an audience on stage. I mean, it's pretty incredible feeling. Why it's odd if you're doing a comedy and it's a movie or TV and there's nobody there, there's no audience. I remember I said to a director one time, she said, "Oh, let's pick up that cue a little bit faster." And I said, "Well, I'm holding for the laugh," and I was sort of half kidding, and she laughed, but I said, "But this is the problem sometimes because you don't know." With the audience at home, you're assuming they're going to laugh because lots of times you'll see a really funny movie or TV show and you miss half of the lines because no one's holding for laughs. Um, it's just a strange, it's a strange type of comedy on camera.
Yeah. What was the most important thing for you in approaching this character of Deborah? What was the thing that you just had to get right?
I guess the thing that I was concerned about was just the believability that I was, a stand-up comic. I got an affirmation from a young fellow that we did a scene in a little club, and he's a professional stand-up, and he thought that I'd kind of gotten all the rhythms and everything just right. Nice to hear. I was a little intimidated because my co-star Hannah is a stand-up comic, and I'm the one who's playing the stand-up comic, and Paul Downs are created and writes the show and is also plays my manager in the show. Quite hilarious. But he's also a stand-up comic, so that was a little intimidating. But yeah, that was the only thing I really worried about was that people would think that it seemed legit that she'd been doing this for a long time. Although I guess I have the excuse that her material is supposed to be kind of dated, so I guess if it wasn't Bafa, then that would be an excuse.
And that relationship with Ava, played by Hannah Einbinder, is such an important part of the show. You sort of your two characters clash so much, but I guess are united in their confidence in themselves and their own way of seeing the world. How did you approach that relationship, and what did you enjoy most about that dynamic?
Oh my gosh, I can't say enough about her. She's so fabulous. I guess that first scene where we first meet, which was actually the scene that she auditioned with.
Mm.
Um, and that was the scene that we rehearsed the most. That sort of kind of set the tone. Uh, and it was a fun scene to work on. There's so much going on, but they are such complete opposites. That's what's so, it's sort of like the odd couple, you know?
Yeah.
And you sort of hopefully enjoy seeing them kind of annoy each other and get each other's goat. But you know, my abuse of hers is quite fun to play.
Yeah. Because I guess the characters in the show have to learn from each other. And like, I'm wondering, is that something that you guys needed to learn, or you were just keen to learn from each other from the get-go?
Well, you know, the scripts are so good. It was kind of there on the page. Um, and it's nice to see the kind of gradual thawing of Deborah and the gradual confidence of Ava, um, after being treated so badly uh, for a while. Although the very fact that she stands up to Deborah in their first meeting is one of the things I think that piques Deborah's interest.
Mm.
Because she's desperate and doesn't want to lose her club dates, because people don't normally stand up to her,
Mm.
and people just being intimidated by her all the time. So the fact that Ava really gets her goat in that first scene is one of the things she thinks, okay, well, maybe this will work with this very strange girl.
Do you have a favorite moment from making the series?
Oh gosh, there's so many. It, there's an episode where we have get stoned together on marijuana gummies, which is quite fun to shoot.
Oh, yeah.
At all, but yeah, that was fun.
Oh, that's good. Is it, you said growing up, you know, you really thought it looked like fun watching the female stand-up comedians. Was there one in particular that you found particularly funny or that you gravitated towards?
I guess the first one that I ever saw, I don't include Lucille Ball because she didn't do stand-up.
Mm.
For some reason, as a kid, I wasn't, this is sacrilegious to say, but I wasn't crazy about what Lucy did. It, um, but then I saw Phyllis Diller, and I thought she was hilarious, and I'd never seen a woman act like that, and she looked like she was having so much fun, and I thought, wow, that looks like fun. I would like to try that sometime. And I was like, I was 11 or 12, and she, you know, I went to a costume party in middle school dressed as Phyllis Diller. God, I wish. So that was my first exposure probably, because there were hardly any women doing it back then.
Mm. What do you think that 11-year-old Jean Smart would say, dressed as Phyllis Diller for a Halloween costume, would say to you now, who's getting to act as a stand-up comic in this series?
It's definitely a one I can tick off on my bucket list. You know, that would have been cool, because it's sort of like when you get your fantasies, not quite the way you thought you were going to get them.
Yeah.
Interesting, because when I first moved to Los Angeles, there's a street I discovered, Bel Air, that I thought was one of the most beautiful residential streets I've ever seen in my life. And I just thought, back in the early 80s, I thought, oh, I'd love to live on the street. You know, I never afford to live on the street. The houses are incredibly expensive. And it just so happens that the exterior of Deborah's house is on that street. And I'm going, really? This is how I get my fantasies? Okay, I'll take it. Pretend to live on that street.
Oh, I love it. If you, Jane, had to send someone down to watch tapes of your entire career in a room somewhere, you had them all lined up there, just of all the things you've ever done, what would you hope they stumbled across? What would you hope they put in that VCR or DVD player?
Oh, I only get to pick one.
You could chuck a couple in there quick.
Gosh. In terms of comedies, I would definitely say this one. Also, I did the character I played on Frasier was one of my all-time favorite roles. In fact, the producers said that was the one that was one of the things that they thought, yeah, she might be right for this part. Oh, I did a movie that didn't get seen a lot, but that was a really great experience. A movie called Guinevere that I did several years ago with Stephen Ray and Sarah Polley. That I would like people to see. I was very proud of Fargo.
We're an awards website. We love following the awards, and you've done very well at the Emmys. You've won 3 Emmy Awards, including 2 for that role on Frasier. That was one of your favorites. And you've gotten a whole bunch of nominations as well. The times you haven't won, including one of my favorites is when you were Martha Logan on 24. Like,
that was definitely a highlight. Yeah.
What has the Emmys meant to you in your career?
Well, first of all, I think it's fun. I mean, the awards are always fun, and it's always very flattering to be nominated, and certainly winning is a thrill. And I guess mostly because it's from your peers, and to me, the most meaningful compliment you can get.
Yeah. What was it like when you won that first Emmy? What was going through your head?
Oh, I mean, I don't remember if I was expecting. I don't think I was expecting it, but it was very exciting. Although that year, that category was at the not the primetime Emmys.
Yes, the creative arts.
Doesn't get to present at the primetime Emmys. So that was fun. That was exciting.
And then you got to win at the primetime Emmys a couple of years later for Samantha Who. Was that like, was that a different experience winning on the sort of televised big night?
Yes, I guess a little more nerves and yeah, that was very exciting, and it's always nice to be able to have a chance to publicly thank the people that you worked with, and to thank Christina and to thank the writers and the studio and everything. That's the nice part. I don't think people realize how important that is, because lots of times you thank people that the audience at home, they don't know who they are. They're the behind the scenes people, but you want their name to be out there. You want their families to hear them mentioned and thanked. And
yeah. And I want to finish on today. What is a lesson you've taken from your career that you've brought with you into Hacks?
Oh, well, I guess I would say patience, perseverance. Try not to, I guess, dissect your career, and if actors spend too much time thinking about how they're perceived, and they'll just go crazy. So you have to just essentially please yourself and do what you think is right. Be proud of what you're doing. Try to work with the best people that you can, and realize that a lot of it is just luck. A lot of it is, like I said, perseverance. I was kind of a late bloomer, so but I am still quite amazed and grateful that so many incredible roles have been offered to me in the last few years.
Well, thanks so much for talking with us today, Jean. All the best of luck. Perhaps you'll get Emmy nomination. I think you might be up to 10 if you get nominated for Hacks.
It's not cursing.
Okay, don't worry about that. But people watching this interview can go to goldderby.com where you can make your awards predictions and watch other interviews. Thanks so much, Jean. This is great.